then you should have something in your home, on your hand. Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, Faiz.
So yeah, please let me know if everybody can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Guys, I'll request everyone to be on mute if you're not presenting. Yeah, okay, cool. Carry on, Faiz.
Yeah, thank you. So the page you are seeing, that is the community, the Delhi chapter page. So you can register by navigating to the link we have provided on top of the slide. So community.uipath.com/Delhi NCR. And you can also scan this WhatsApp QR code so that we can allow you to be a part of this Delhi NCR WhatsApp group. And you feel free to navigate to this page and register the upcoming sessions. This is the second series. We have 8 sessions. Yesterday we have started first session, and continue will be more session in pipeline. Right? So today we are going to cover SAP automation with UiPath. That is the second session. And in this session, we are going to cover SAP automations, right? Yesterday you have seen, maybe few of you have attended the yesterday sessions. So you have seen the GUI automations. That is most common in the automation industry. But apart from GUI automation, we have OData services, RFC, and BAPI automation as well. So in the today's session, we will try to cover more on the OData services, because the RFC and BAPI, the BAPI will only support on the legacy applications, legacy UiPath legacy supports, and RFC, due to some technical issues, the connection between the TSP, the server, it is not established. But we will try to cover how you can write the code and how you can create the sales order or the purchase order with the help of RFC. But in today's session, we will cover more on the OData side. And today we will try to create the bulk vendor creation with the help of OData service. So this is small introduction about me, like myself as, and I'm working as a senior technical consultant with the Silicon Partners, and also I'm a solution architect with the Silicon Partner, and I'm the UiPath Hackathon champion 2 times, AI Summit, and also the UiPath official content writer. The agenda of this session today, we are going to cover SAP, like I said, RFC and BAPI, prerequisites, that is SAP Access. It can be SAP ECC, SAP Fury, or any SAP applications, right? So OData, for OData, you will require the OData endpoint. If you have a good practice in your organization, if it is don't have like, or you are automating any process for any client, so you can request from the client to provide these details so that you can automate OData and RFC. So today we are going to cover OData, and like it is required, like prerequisites are OData endpoints, credential, RFC endpoints, and credential. Postman we are going to use for testing the endpoint, UiPath apps to integrate the SAP with UiPath apps, and the studio for entire development. Data preparation, like we will show you like how you can prepare the data in order to post this data into the SAP, and the quick demo. So SAP, OData, RFC, and BAPI, all these 3 are using the APIs in the backend, right? But they are acting differently, and they are using some input parameters. Like for OData, there are different input parameter. For RFC, you will require some other expertise, like you will need the intervention of SAP basis team or SAP ABAP team as well, because we are a remote function calling here. And for BAPI, like UiPath earlier design a BAPI activities, like there we have the package, but currently it is not supported because UiPath BAPI activities is only supported on the Windows legacy platform. But for 2020 or 2024 updates, it is not supporting, right? So we will let you know like if you are still using the legacy Windows legacy studio version, so you can how you can use the SAP BAPI and what are the prerequisites and the data is required in order to proceed for the BAP. But we will more try to focus on the data and RFC, the OData and RFC. Testing data with endpoint and Postman. So once you got the okay, so once you got all these details from your organization or maybe from any client, so first thing you have to So you have to install the Postman or any API testing application. So in today's session, we are going to cover the Postman. So you can see this is the screenshot of Postman. So there we are going to create the business partner with the help of Postman. First, we will go with the Postman so that as a developer, you must be aware, you should require the Postman. First, test the endpoint or all the data which were provided by the client. Then you can go to the UiPath Studio for further development. And then further you can go for the UiPath apps integrations. Generating business partner with UiPath apps and SAP, right? So here we have designed one UiPath apps or front end, and this is not very limited. Like this application is designed in the legacy mode, but currently we have the VB.NET capabilities or HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So you can also leverage all these capabilities to design the intuitive applications, right? Generating purchase order with SAP RFC. So like I said, so we will let you know how you can design a code as the system is not working currently. So we will let you know and we will walk you through the studio process, like how you can leverage all these and what are the prerequisites for generating the sales order for with the help of SAP RFC. So for BAPI, so these are for the RFC. So you will require the HTTP request, and there are some couple of more fields are required like JSON format or so or endpoint or the credentials. So we will let you know in the coming once we proceed for with these sessions, right? Generating sales order with SAP BAPI. So for AP BAPI, it is you can see it is only it is only supported on Windows legacy. So in this session, we are not going to cover like how we can run this process and how we can add these activity because we are upgraded with the latest version of UiPath Studio. So the Windows legacy platform is not supported, right? But you can, if you are using legacy, if you are using earlier version, you can definitely use the BAPI activities. There you will require the SAP application is go or call BAPI, or you can invoke the BAPI activities here. Yeah, that is all about the theoretical part. So let's move on to some practicals. So that okay, first things like when you are going to start the development, so you have the Postman, and these are some standard endpoints for the organization which I'm working currently, the Silicon Partners. So these are the endpoint for OData services, right? So once you got the endpoint, so you need to get the CSRF tokens, right? So first we need to generate the CSRF token. And to generate the CSRF token, we will require some information like headers level details. If you are familiar with the Postman, then you are aware about like what are the headers, what are the parameter or authorization. If you are not, so maybe we have you can refer the other UiPath community or MVP's YouTube channels, so that you can aware about like how you can use the Postman. But we are assuming you all have the like knowledge about the Postman to test any APIs, right? Support failure as well. So these are a couple of these automation SAP. There are plays a big role in managing all those area and organizations. There is some background noise. Maybe I request you if anyone. So please mute yourself. Yeah, thank you very much.
So you can post your questions on chat, and then we'll try to answer it in chat. And then we can also take some of the questions at the end of the session.
Yes, thank you. So going at like we have the endpoints for OData request call, and these are some headers level details are required. So authorization, cookies, cache control, postman, tokens, host, user agent. These are some information required in order to get the token. So we are just going to authenticate like this is the user going to create the business partner, but first we need to authenticate the user to get the token, right? So authorization, that is, you already have the authorization detail. Let me show you the screenshot how you can put the authorization details. So like we have filled all the headers details. Now comes to the authorization section. There you have to choose the basic auth, right? There are different authorization mechanism here. So you can choose according to your requirement. But for this demo, we are going to choose the basic auth. There you have to provide username and password. once you have provided these details, so once you have provided all these details, then you have to send the request for CSRF tokens. So you can see it is successful. So once it is successful, it will generate the CSRF token. So we will use the same CSRF token to create the business partner within the SAP, right? So there are a couple of things are required if you are going to create the business partner. Cache control, Postman, content type, host, user agent, accept decoding. And along with this information, the header level information, there are one more things are required, that is token. Like CSRF token we have created, and this token is also required for business partner creation. So we will provide XCSRF token. So you have to type all these keys same way, like content type, hyphen length, host, user agent, accept, including. And you also have to provide the values over there. So once all these are filled, address label details are filled, then comes to this body section. Because we already have generated the token, then authorization is not needed for business partner creation, because for this header label, it is only CSRF tokens are required. For body, so these are some JSON data. Let me open the data. So for business partner creation, with the help of Postman, we are just going to test the endpoints are working or not. So we are going to use only one data, one business partner creation. But the beauty of OData services or bulk vendor creation with the help of APIs call or RFC call, it will create like hundreds of thousands of data within minutes or seconds, right? So if you are going with the GUI, so it will take some time, because you have to navigate to different scheme. You have to put some T codes over there, then you have to generate T codes. So it will take some time. But if you have the capabilities, you have the BAPI team or basis team, or your client is ready to provide OData services, then we will recommend you to go work with the OData services in order to generate purchase order or the sales order or the business partners or the vendor details, right? So for business partner creation, all these are some mandatory details are or fields are needed. So first you have to provide the business partner category, then language, then all these details. All these details are required, so you have to provide all these. Those are not required or not mandatory. You can see all these are left, right? So yeah. So we have provided these detail into the body. So let me hit enter or maybe send request. Okay. So we have generated the token here. Okay. They can see 201 created. The request has been fulfilled and resulted in a new resource being created. It means like business partner has been created. You can see the business partner number has been generated. Like how we can validate this, like it has been created or not. So let's copy this and let's go into the SAP ECC, or this can be SAP ECC, SAP Fury, or it can be any SAP applications where the data is synchronized with the OData service. Like we have posted the data, so we need to go into the BP means business partner. So this is the T code to go the business partner. So let me remove this. Let me go the recent created. Let's hit enter. So you can see the business partner has been created. Let's click on this and we can validate the data we have put into the uh, HTML body or the JSON body, and we can check like all these data are filled while creating the business partner. So you can see all are filled, or we can validate it like postal code city 9001. We can comes to the Postman and let's go to the body 90011. So the BP is created because we are using the Postman just for testing. So if like assuming we have thousands of BP creations, like business partner creation, so how we can create with the help of UiPath Studio. So let's move to the UiPath Studio. So similar way, like we have to create the CSRF token first. So here you can see we are using VB.NET function. So we are using some VB.NET function and providing some input parameters over there, all the details, including the CSRF token, right? So we are using fetch function to fetch the CSRF token because we are generating with the help of this generate CSRF token sequence. We are generating the sequence first. Once it is generated, then we are going to use okay. So you can see so I have added a couple of a condition here. So we can generate this BP creation with the help of Excel template, with the help of S4D data, or with the help of SharePoint as well. So I will show you once I will walk you through the UiPath application or integration UiPath, like how you can integrate UiPath apps with UiPath Studio, so that you can have a front end to generate the business partner. So these are the condition are added for this. So, but currently we are using the Excel template, and the template it is already there in the UiPath bucket. So you like I'm sure like you are aware about like UiPath orchestrator having the bucket facility. You can upload your any kinds of file over there. So once the CSRF token has been generated, you can check the condition like so whether you have to get the file from bucket or you are getting the data from S4D or you are getting the data from SharePoint list or libraries, right? So for this scenario, we are getting the data from UiPath orchestrator bucket. Once the file is downloaded, then we are going to post this data. Like the file is downloaded, then we have the DP template. I will show you like how the DP template will look like. And we are replacing some values, like we have some placeholder over there. So we are replacing, like we are downloading the Excel file. So let me open the Excel file so that you have a look on the input data. So you can see these are the input data are required. All these are mandatory where we have the values, right? So for demo, we have just chosen 3 records. So these are some information. These are fields. So same way you can check with the client or your company. So what are the field names are needed in order to post the data? So same like you have to provide the business partner, language. So you have to provide language 1, search term, search 2, and so on. So these are some, sorry, fields are required. So here we have the data table. We are replacing the template with the help of replace function and the placeholder we have added in the templates, right? Once the data is ready for the body, we are requesting that we are calling the HTTP request function, right? So it will require some parameters. So we are preparing the input data first, and then we have the HTTP request. There you have to provide the endpoint first. So you can see the same endpoint we have used in the Postman, and couple of more information are required. The body we have to pass the same things, right? So let me open the template so that you can relate what are the data inside the template. So you already have seen the Postman. So these are the detail we are passing, but there we have the placeholder. So at the runtime, once first we download the file, the input data, then we will replace all these data one by one, and then we will call the HTTP request to create a record, then check the status. If it is 201, then we are doing some string manipulation, then we are preparing this data for the final result. So these are the details. So let me run this process. So let me remove this file first. And the final result. Okay. So let me debug it. So this process will download the Excel file, the input data from bucket, then read the Excel data and store the data into the data table, then call the for loop to create a business partner one by one. Like we are doing some string manipulations or we are replacing some placeholder values into the BP templates because the body will accept only the JSON format. Then we have to prepare the data as per the requirement. Then it will create the BP one as there is three records for the input data. So it will run for 3 times and it will generate the business partner. So the process has been completed here. So you can see 3 business partners has been generated. So we have provided 3 records, 3 input record for BP creation. So we can check this record as well in the SAP ECC, or you can check also in the SAP Fury. So Fury, like you may be not aware about the Fury or UI5 or SAP ECC. SAP ECC is a client application. It will install on your machine locally. SAP SAP Fury is a UI front end. So like you can customize your SAP Fury application or you can connect your SAP Fury application with SAP server with the help of APIs like we are using currently we are using the APIs. Same way you can create the front end UI with the help of UI5. So this will depends upon your organization or the client. So what are the application they are currently using? They can be used SAP ECC, SAP Fury, or UI5. You can see the record has been created for 2100A. Same way we can check for other BP. So you have seen like we have tested the endpoint with the help of Postman and we have created the studio process. Now it's time like how we can use the UiPath apps to integrate with this process, right? So let me move on to this application. Okay, so we have built one applications and we can run these applications. So this will require some expertise, like you have to explore on how you can use the control, how you can think beyond it, like how you can design the front end, and then you have to add all these controls tables and or the containers, right? So once you are ready, then you can run this process. So you can learn on this first page. You can click on this SAP automation. And you can design based on the client requirement or based on your organization requirement. So let me move on to the studio. So we can see we have used the flowchart or condition here, like it is Excel template. So data is coming from which location the data is coming, like it is coming from Excel, the bucket, or it is coming from the S4D, or it is coming from the shell. So we have, you can see, so we have different data source. We can load the data from SharePoint, the input data from SharePoint. We can load the data from any SAP system, right? But for this scenario, we are going to use the data from bucket, right? So you can choose any template if you are familiar with the SAP automation or you are the enterprise here. So you may be aware about like XK001 for vendor creation, maybe ME21, ME5, MM01, XT0. So you are aware about all these types, but we are going to create the vendor, so we have to select this. And if you want to validate the data before posting into the SAP, so you can build the logic or you can build the sequence to validate your input file, maybe any empty values, any numeric or alphanumeric values. You can validate it with the help of UiPath Studio first, or then you can post into the SAP. If you don't want to validate the first, then you can post, and SAP itself returns some warning or error messages based on the data you have provided. If you have left the field empty and you are going to create the request, but it is the required field, right? Then it will automatically generate these are fields are required, and you have to fill the data, then come again and upload the file and post it to the SAP, right? So for now, we are not going to validate. So you can download the template, like these all are the template. You can click on download, it will download the file from bucket. If you want to upload, like you already have downloaded and you want to upload it into the bucket, so you click on this upload. So you can see these are apps control, these file picker or the option buttons. So you can click on this file picker. You can choose your file from here and click on Excel template. So you can choose like data is coming from Excel template or it is coming from S4 or SharePoint, right? So as soon as you upload, so there we have added some GIF files and the process will initiate it. Like it will take some time. So you can see the data is populated here. You can validate the data before creating the vendor. So you can scroll, but it is not working, right? But you can scroll the table and check the data, like all the required fields are filled or not before creating the business partner. So once you are validated, all these data are pre-filled, then you can click on create button. It will invoke one process, and this process will call the OData services or API in the backend, and uh, it will generate a business partner, and all the business partner should populate here and with the status like business partner has been created, and the business partner will number will also be populated here. But currently, due to some connection error, it is not working. So I'm not going to click on create button. You already have seen the UiPath Studio. It is generating whatever the data we will provide in the template. It will generate the business partner. So we are just taking the example for 3 business partner, but it can be 100, 200, or 1,000 as well. So this is all about the OData. So now we can move on to the RFC, because all three are calling the API in the backend. But the major difference between all three is OData is using the one system, and you can create the record in one system. Like there we have the endpoint. It is connected with SAP server. You can request the server. It will based on your input and requirement. It will generate the it will generate business partner or can purchase order or any stocking order, right? But for RFC, there may be two system, right? So you are assuming like you are requesting for system A, and system A will request to the system B. System B will provide some information to system A. So for these kind of technical requirement, like you have different system, you are getting some values from different system and posting into the third system, then the RFC logics are required. And there you also have required the basis team or a BAP team. So if you are from the SAP background, so you must be aware about the ABAP team or the basis team or team, right? So you have to reach out to the basis team. They will create the endpoint for you, and they will also create a connection between two or three different systems, so that you can post the data into one or two systems, right? And there can be a proxy system as well. So you can create a SOAP request with the, and you have the endpoint, you have the SOAP request, and you have the JSON input data. Then you can post into their SAP systems. Let me show you the code, like how it will work. Assuming we are going to create a purchase order for 50 vendors, right? So the how you can prepare the data first. So let me open the JSON. So as per, like, you have to check with the ABAP team. So what are the field name you are going to provide as an input? So these are some SAP field name, eCore, PUKR, but it should be a meaningful, but like it is the SAP name. While we are posting the data, there you have to provide the SAP field name. And you can convert this SAP field name. You can connect with your ABAP team. They can provide the meaningful name or along with this SAP field name, so that once you are posting this data, it will post it successfully. In response, you will receive all these field and along with some reference number, so that you can convert this field name to the meaningful name, and this meaningful name will also add it in the data table, and further you can send it to the client or the process owner. They have like what those who have created this request. So these are some input data is required. SOAP request, like I said, like proxy server is also needed. So for this scenario, we are using SOAP request, and there we have a tag, XML tab, and these are some placeholders. So we are replacing the JSON data, this data, with this SOAP request, and so we are reading the SOAP template and input data. Then we are replacing this placeholder with JSON data. Then we have a HTTP request. Same thing, because in the backend, the BAPI, OData, and all are calling the APIs, right? So we have to provide the endpoint. So endpoint, this is for my organization, and this can be different for other organization. They can, because the basis team will generate this endpoint for you. So they can generate whatever the server they have and whatever the functions they have, the table they have. So they can generate. Let me open it. So the endpoint is different, like you have seen in the Postman. This endpoint is for the OData services, and this endpoint is for RFC call. Right? So like I have provided so we are going to accept the format, the body format in XML format, and we are posting this data, and the request endpoint we already have provided. There are a couple of more things we have to provide: the collections. The body we have prepared in XML format. You have seen in the SOAP request. So there are header details are only content type. We are passing application, SOAP, XML. These details are needed, and we have to provide the username and password for all APIs. You should have the credential, so you can provide the username and password. So because today I cannot run this process because the server is down, but in real scenarios, you can run this exact code and you will receive a response like this is purchase order has been created with reference number so and so, right? So this code should work. So this is all about the RFC, and for BAPI, like I said, currently UiPath Studio is not supporting the legacy, so we cannot build the process for BAPI call, but I can show you. Yeah. So we will share all the related URLs once the session will come to the Q&A, then we will provide all these URL. You can navigate to the URL and have a look on like what are the things are needed, like about the BAPI activities package. You have required all these. All these are prerequisites. Well, like if you are already using the legacy or the 2023 version of UiPath Studio, you can install the BAPI activities or package. And once you install, you can call the SAP application scope first. And there you have to provide some SAP server details, right? You are going to establish the connection between UiPath Studio and with the SAP server. So you have to provide these details like application server. These detail will be provided by your SAP team. So once you provide all these detail, you have to click on this test connection. So as soon as you hit the test connection, it should be look like this SAP connection successful. So once it is successful within the scope of SAP application, you have to call the invoke SAP BAPI, and you can search your connection name from here, right? BAPI here. So what you have created before this, you can search it here. And once you search, it will populate couple of required field. Let me close this. Yeah, so it will look like this. So once you search your BAPI, so it can be a list of BAPI BAPI is here. You can create sales order, you can create purchase order. So once you click on this search icon, you will list out all these details, whatever are available for you. So once you select this sales order, so these are some required field. So sales document, order header, same way like we are passing some Postman details, right? So for this is also required some header levels details, like these are some details, order header. So once you provide all these details, click on done. And yeah. So you can refer this document if you want to test your test BAPI application, BAPI package or activities. You can definitely go to this URL and do some hands-on around it. And you can request your SAP team to provide all these connection details. So this is all about the OData, RFC, and BAPI. If you have any questions, yeah.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Faz. Vinod this side. Um, Hello.
Yeah.
So for this OData template, which you have shown in this scenario, the BP template, that gets provided by the SAP IT team, right?
Yeah. So SAP team will provide you detail, and the team will also highlight like what are these. Let me refresh it. So let me open the template. So you can reach out to the team, and also you can ask what are the fields are mandatory. So they can highlight for you like these are mandatory, these are required, and these are required. So they can provide all these details along with some input data as well. So once you have this template, you can create this maybe BP creation or purchase order creation. Same way they will provide the template. Maybe they will not provide the template. They will provide the columns name, so the field
Yeah.
names,
Hmm.
and you can prepare this template by yourself, or maybe your team can provide this template as well. Depends upon the communication between you and your SAP team, like how they are going to provide these details.
Okay. And by template, you mean the JSON file, right? The JSON template.
No, so they can provide
Okay.
this detail, or
Hmm.
you can convert into the JSON, or they can also provide the JSON data
Hmm.
like this. So
Okay.
they can
Okay.
provide this like the data should comes into this form, right?
Hmm.
Because it is easy for them to provide these details. Like you can ask him, they can provide these input details like how the data will look like in JSON format. So we have to pass the data into the body. So you can provide the same exact format like the JSON and nested JSON as well.
And this we can use for create, update, delete of
Yeah,
records,
sure. So we
all
have,
the
but
automation.
these
Yeah.
are not working right away, but we have the logic to create, update, and delete or validate as well.
Okay, okay. And regarding this CSRF authentication token, so this is just the authentication for
Yes.
whatever the user ID will you have to access
Yeah.
the SAP
So
system.
in order to create the BP, first you have to create the CSRF token. So you can see the difference between these URLs. So we are creating the business partner. In the CSRF token, you can see we are providing these details only, right? So
Yes.
by posting this detail, we can get the CSRF token. And
Okay.
in the response, you can have all these details.
Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So Mohammed Shiva here. I
Yeah, I
just
should.
had one confusion. Yeah, hi. So actually here we have two different endpoints. One is to get the CSRF token, and another is to post the data. So to get the CSRF token, what exactly along with the endpoint, what exactly they'll provide for us to generate the token? I mean, what are the required
So
parameters that?
till here, it is the standard URL. Your
Mm-hmm.
SAP basis team will create, your basis team or web team will create this endpoint for you, because
Okay.
they are having the So they are just exposing these URL so that you can have a credential, and just you have to pass these details to get the BP response. But for PO creation or PO detail response, this may be changed because you can see the API underscore business partner. But for PO creation or for order creation, so this will be changed, right? So you have to provide different detail here if you are going to get the detail for about purchase order, right? So then you have to provide maybe something like PO underscore order, and you can provide all these key and values like for header details. Once you provide header details, you will get the CSRF token.
So for these parameters, whatever these values that we are passing for these keys, so all that will be provided by the SAP team itself. I mean, all those parameters, or is it
Not
something
sure.
that
Yeah, they must have, the ABAP team must have all these detail because they are also using the SAP Postman or SOAP request, right? So in order to test any endpoint before sharing with the like for with developers or maybe UiPath developers, they must have the Postman and tested all these details. So all these details must have with the SAP team, right?
Okay, okay, got it. And also, like, if suppose, can we do some hands-on, like, is there any free tier access or something we can purchase to do this, like automation, like this practice and hands-ons?
For free tier, you have SAP will not provide any OData and RFC. They will only provide the some GUI access, right? But for OData and API call, you have to connect with your enterprise or maybe client teams, SAP teams, right? Because the SAP team will not provide the OData and APIs, right? For free trial. For enterprise, definitely they must have.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, thank you.
And also, if you're from NCR, Delhi NCR region, we will also have an in-person meetup on 21st of September in Noida location. And the event is also published on the community page of Delhi NCR. And there we will give exclusive access to the participants, where you can also do some hands-on exercises by yourself. So we'll provide access to the participants for in-person meetup.
Okay, fine.
It means like we will provide some temporary access so that you can do some hands-on around it within our organization. And yeah, there we have very limited seat. If you want, if you're interested and you can be available on the Delhi NCR, so definitely I would request you to register yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? So I'm just stopping my screen here. If anyone have any questions.
Hey, hi, Mohammed. Abhijit this side. Actually,
Hi,
I have a
Vijay.
I have a question with respect to this RFC. So my question is that is there any documentation available on the UiPath forum or maybe
Yeah,
and
I do
yeah,
have.
yeah,
You can feel free to ping on my LinkedIn. I will provide this document, the
yeah,
SAP document and the RFC document. You
yeah,
can refer it. For OData and RFC, I do have. For
yeah.
BAPI, I can share the URL in the team chat, the same team chat.
Okay, because right now we are using this BAPI functionality in our architecture, but we want to explore this RFC and the OData features. Okay, yeah. So that is
Yeah.
why. Yeah,
So
sure.
the document is, I think, more than enough. You can refer it.
Yeah, sure. Because that will again require a lot of this creations from the basis team. So yeah, that is why we would be requiring those documents. Okay, yeah, thank you for your time.
So I think we are good, right? So no more questions, right? So if you have, you feel free to ask.